let's say if I am bidding, if the top bidder is at 375, and if you go down to 300, for example, on
Yeah.
this, let's say if I want to bid at 300, but the other investor is bidding at 375, and let's say the other investor's budget is, just for the number's sake, 3,750. And then there's only two investors. That investor at 375, me at 300. So the first 10 leads, because he's bidding 375 per lead, first 10 leads, because his budget is 3,750, will go to him. Now that his budget has run out, I will get the leads at $300 per lead. Correct?
That is correct.
So,
Yep.
so you could sort of like, and it's based on the calendar month, right? From
Yeah.
the first, okay. So if that other investor's budget runs out in the first 10 days and I have a budget of $3,000, then I'll get the next 10 leads at $300 per lead until my budget runs out. And now because both other investor and my budget has run out, then nobody is getting those leads. And then come the first of the month, the same cycle starts again.
That is correct.
Okay.
And something that I want to point out is that the budget is not necessarily just for one county. It's an overall budget. So while this guy is getting leads at 375, he's also getting leads from other counties. So let's say that a county is small and we only do 10 leads a month in average, right? So it would suck for that guy to get all 10, because then finally when you can start getting leads, you wouldn't be able to, because we're not generating more, or maybe just one or two. But maybe he's getting leads from other counties at the same prices, or his budget will deplete.
Will deplete.
So there's always going to be, yeah.
And then, guys, I don't know who was on the call yesterday about 10 DLC, and I've been stressing this for a long time. Service like need to sell my house fast will become more and more relevant to your business as we go into, come September 1st with the 10 DLC changes, where you can't, you can, but you really don't want to be. It's going to get more and more challenging to do SMS marketing for lead gen. So you want to definitely start looking into some inbound marketing. I've been using Need to Sell My House Fast. You get quality leads. And good thing with Need to Sell My House Fast is like they don't have to follow the 10 DLC, so it's on us, but we get those leads sent straight to us. And if you're not looking into that, I would 100% start looking into, Need to Sell My House Fast, I guess, to add it to your marketing channel. And you don't have to go with the high bid. If you could just say, hey, my budget is only $200 per lead, for example, and I can spend max, let's say at 15 leads, $3,000. Just set it at that and see it for a month if you get any leads. Maybe then bump it up to 225. You can get a sense of how much the other investor in your market is spending. And if you start noticing that you're getting some leads towards like the later half of the month, then okay, the other investor has a certain budget. Once that runs out, I'm getting those leads at a little bit lower cost based on what fits my budget. So you can get really creative with that if you work your numbers. So you're not like basically instead of getting your leads at the beginning of the month, you're getting a little bit towards the end of the month based on the budget that you're comfortable with.
And also that's a very good point. And we don't work with those monthly fees because we understand that if you're waiting, you should only spend money on leads. And Sharad, you've been in the system for a long time and you are successful with the leads, but it's my responsibility to let everybody know that it doesn't mean that this will work for everybody, right? So that's the reason why we don't have any contracts, right? If this doesn't work, you can always reach out to me or Sharad and get some insight. But if this doesn't work, we allow you to pause your account at any point. It's very important that you don't spend the money that you don't have, but also keep in mind that this is a business in general where you cannot expect for every lead to convert. And while you're waiting to convert, you have to spend money on those other leads. And whenever you do convert, that's going to pay for all those other leads that didn't. But I get a lot of people expecting to try the system with a $300 budget, right? We don't even charge the budget up front because we understand that this is a walk-to process. But don't expect spending 300 to close a deal. I mean, this is a system where, again, the conversion tends to be 10 and 15 to close a deal. And
And
that will
also
depend
another,
on the market.
yeah, another thing to keep in mind is like you spend that money and it's not you get the lead and then you're going to close immediately. You know, you're getting warm leads, but sometimes you'll come across these leads from need to sell my house files that are going to be ready to sell right now, and it just happens that the house works out and it's a totally qualified lead. You're able to do that, but just because you're getting these warm leads, you need to have a follow-up system that you're staying in touch with these leads, just like with any other lead that you have. Um, and Joe, we have a couple of questions. One from Yolanda. Where do you input your maximum budget amount in this system?
Okay, one
Yeah,
second, I'll show
good,
you right
good
now.
question.
Yeah, when you click right here, everything that you need is right here in this menu. So right here where you go to view profile, you're gonna find the monthly budget option right here. By default, everybody's budget is set this way, unlimited. Because again, whatever number you put in, we're not gonna charge it as a credit. We're only gonna walk towards it. So this is a very important thing for me to explain. So thank you, Yolanda. If we go back to the 1000, right? And our bids are set to 100, okay? What's gonna happen is every time you get a lead, we're not gonna decrease the budget. The way this works is like this. So let's say everything is set to $100, and we get the first lead with $1,000 budget. So it's gonna say right here on the dashboard, right here. You see this part says 0 out of 1,000. Okay, so the first lead that you get is gonna say 100 out of 1,000. It's not gonna decrease to 900. So you get the first lead, and then you get the second one. So it's gonna say 200 out of 1,000. And let's say that second lead, you went ahead and you disputed under one of the reasons that we allow. So what's gonna happen is we're not gonna decrease back to 100. We're just gonna apply credits. We don't do refunds. We're gonna apply credits for whatever you paid for that lead. In this case, is 100. So the next lead that you get, you're gonna use those credits. It's gonna say 300 out of 1,000 when you actually just spend 200 for now. Okay? So whatever budget you set right here, it's not even real, because if you are looking to spend $1,000, you have to keep in mind that the credits also apply. So just earlier this morning, I had an investor that was concerned because it said that he was spending over, what was it, like 13 or 1400, and that was because we were combining the credits as well. Okay, so the budget, if it's 1,000, I would say that maybe 500 or 600 will actually be spent. The other 500 or 400 will be just recycled credits. If that answers the question.